Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to episode number 13 of Snow Day Sports. I'm your host, Dalton Barrett, with my co-host, Max Slendon, here on this beautiful, Monday night where I'm located here in northern Minnesota. Max, how's it down in Des Moines right now?
It's going well. It was a little iffy this morning, but it's cooled down. Got some nice weather here.
How's fall camp been for you? I know you're working with the Drake team
Camp
as
has
well.
gone well. I mean, it's fall camp. We're kind of in the dog days of it right now. We're about to start our Upper Iowa prep here soon, but everybody's ready to get on to actual games and be done with fall camp because it's a grind.
Yeah, you can only hit each other for so long and so much. It feels like I remember that as a player where it was, all right, day 14, haven't even started prepping for our first opponent yet. It's getting old.
Yeah, I think we're about to install a lot of that prep here soon, so I'm excited for it. We play next Thursday already, which fall cap just blew by. So I think everybody's excited for that. And the first Division 1 game in Iowa. So hopefully everybody comes
So you
out.
guys are going to be playing Upper Iowa, is that correct?
Yep, Upper Iowa, 6:30 kickoff.
Hey.
August 28th in Des Moines, 6:30. We kick off our season and look to start our three-peat as PFL conference champs.
All right. Upper Iowa's a school I'm actually kind of familiar with myself. My freshman year at Winona, we actually ended up playing them. We actually kind of secured the conference championship with them, with a win over them. If we would have won the next week, we would have outright won the conference. But Mankato kind of did us dirty that next week. When I was helping with the Winona program as well, we ended up scrimmaging them. So there's a little familiarity there for me. Well, should we hop right into this episode though here?
The number one topic on Minnesota sports fans' mind, more specifically Twins fans, it was recently announced that the Pohlads will give up their search to sell the Twins, and it was not received well by Twins fans.
I had a buddy that went to a Twins game here last week, and I asked him if he had a paper bag over his head, and he said there were people handing them out outside the gates, and he regretfully didn't take one.
Yeah, I
Hey,
mean, you saw it post game that Tim Laudner almost got drowned out by sell the team chants, and that's never a great sign as an owner, especially when you recently announced that you're not going to sell the team, traded 10 players. That just left a bad taste in a lot of Minnesota Twins fans' mouths. So, I mean, I'm very disappointed by the news, but hopefully we get a bidder at the last second.
I actually saw a tweet today from the Twins of them kind of saying that we have six top 100 prospects right now, more than any other organization. Well, the comments were purely then just the Twins getting roasted. We can have six top 100 prospects, but it don't mean crap.
No, exactly not. And Twins fans just do not care, and like they're pissed, and rightfully so, if I'm being 100% honest. It's hard to explain to your fans why it's good to trade a third of your team pretty much.
Mhm.
So, I mean, they're going to have to live with that. Hopefully they're good here soon and all sins will be forgiven, but I'm not holding my breath.
Yep, I'm not either. Yeah, beautiful ballpark the Twins have. It's just crappy owners. The games don't even matter at this point, even though we've actually been playing better as a team, it seems like, but we're not going to really get into that because, well, there's really no hope for the team.
No, they're formalities at this point. They're wins for other teams or to be on the other team's records. Like, they haven't beaten too many teams, but they've played in a lot of close games and they've beaten up on our buddy Chris Paddock a couple times.
That is true. Shifting gears from the Twins here to the Vikings here.
A team people actually care about in the state of Minnesota.
Yeah, and Vikings got another preseason, or no, actually, they fell short the other day. Comeback effort from Max Brosmer came up short. That was actually a really fun game to watch, even though it's preseason, so you don't know half the guys. That was actually, pretty fun game to watch. And for me, being a Gopher fan, getting to watch Max Brosmer, I mean, he's looking all the part of a QB3 for sure, possibly QB2. I mean, he's looking like he's secured his spot on the 53-man roster.
No, I think that's exactly right. Even if he doesn't make that 53-man roster from the Vikings, I'm sure another team will be gladly take him on their 53-man roster. And based on that game, it'll be interesting to see that competition between him and Sam Howell. Sam Howell didn't play a whole lot, so I don't know if that's good or a bad thing for Brosmer, but he had a really bad interception in
Mhm.
that limited sample size. So we'll have to see. I mean, I'm not going to lose a lot of sleep over that decision. If I'm being 100% honest, you saw Kyle Duggar in that game almost fumble away that game, making an unveteran like play. And
Yeah.
Probably a bad thing he's out there on the last play of the game as a veteran like him, but we'll see where he ends up.
And Brosner played pretty much the entire second half the other day for the Vikings. Howell, I think he had a driver to Brett Rippon didn't get much playing time at all. Those two didn't look great, I will say, but and they're also probably playing, better guys just with in terms of depth chart and stuff like that. So, but it was cool to see Brosmer come out and deal a little bit. Since we're talking about QBs here, should we draw our attention over towards Cleveland here? They've named a starter, huh?
Yeah, they've officially named Joe Flacco as their starting quarterback. I mean, it would have probably been hit between him and Pickett, if I'm being 100% honest, and who the starter was going to be that week one.
Mhm.
I doubt it will be Joe Flacco come week 18. I
Right.
could be wrong, but I don't think he'll start all 18 games for him.
Mhm.
I'm going to be more interested to see how many quarterbacks they carry on the 53-man roster. They haven't ruled out the possibility of four quarterbacks
Mhm. Which
between.
I think that's just absurd to carry four QBs.
Yeah, I mean, I, I'm guessing they're going to have to trade and or cut one of them. There's no way you can regain the capital. You invested in at least three of them.
Mhm.
So if you're going to have Joe Flacco be that week one starter, he would probably be the only person who generated any capital back that you invested just merely because he was a free agent signing. So you have nothing invested in him capital wise.
Mhm.
But like you traded for Pickett, you traded for Gabriel. I don't think anybody would give a third round pick for Gabriel. Maybe Shadur would get a fifth round pick back. We knew it would be an ugly situation going into the season. It's maybe a little clearer now, but it's still not a very good situation.
Right. That's just a whole mess going on in Cleveland. That seems like they always have that situation going on. I don't know. Typically, when that happens, your team typically isn't very good. Let's just be completely honest.
But I got a question. Let's just say we could magically snap our fingers, fix that quarterback situation. Let's place Patrick Mahomes on that Browns team. Do you think they're Super Bowl contenders?
No, because it takes more than just a great quarterback to build a Super Bowl contender. And you got to have defense. You got to have an offensive line block for them. And you got to have multiple weapons on the outside, I feel. So,
Yeah, I mean, I've heard that debate before. They're definitely obviously going to be better
mm,
and obviously be around quarterbacks, but I don't think they're quite at Super Bowl contenders.
right.
But like they still have a lot to figure out, and like they're just making their problems worse with this QB situation.
Yeah. Anyways, should we get into some NFL predictions here? Last week we did the AFC. This week we'll do the NFC. What are you thinking here?
Let's start off with the Arizona Cardinals. Their win total is set at 8.5, so it's whether or not they'll go above 500 or not. I personally don't think they do. I mean, they're in a pretty dang good division. I mean, I think they're a decent team. I just don't think they have the horsepower to keep up in that division. Is or with their schedule, it does help to play the NFC South, but like they'll probably have to beat Seattle twice. I don't know if they can go to Tampa Bay and win. They won't go to Houston and win. It'd be if they could go to Dallas or Atlanta and then maybe sweep Seattle, but I don't see them doing all of that. They're good, and obviously they have Kyler Murray, but I just don't think they're good enough to do that.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you here. Just the NFC West is just so tough. And it definitely helps, playing the NFC South a little bit, but there's still NFL football teams. Anybody can be anybody on any given week. I don't really see them going over 8.5. Kyler Murray, he's a great player. It's just, I feel like if the Cardinals, want to put themselves in the position to win the division, he's going to need to play like an MVP. And I frankly just don't see that over him right now.
It's good to see we see eye to eye on that, and we'll move to Michael Penix, as a new station found out. Unfortunately, misspelt one of the letters, but their win total is also set at 8.5. And how do you see this season going for Atlanta?
I just don't see it, quite happening yet. I still think that Penix maybe still has a few things to work on. He still is a young quarterback.
I wouldn't say young,
Or
but he's definitely new to the NFL.
that's what I
Young,
meant. Yeah, yeah, but
young might be a little bit of a stretch.
I forget what is he, 26, 27?
Yeah, somewhere around that. He's kind of he might have already gotten unk status.
Yeah. As someone who's relatively new to the NFL, I just don't see him going out there and performing like top third quarterback in the NFL. I don't feel like he has the greatest weapons around him. There's still question marks on that defense. There's still question marks surrounding Michael Penix in general, so I just don't see them hitting that 8.5. If I were to predict, I'd say probably a 7, 8 win season, but
Yeah, I
Just,
mean, I agree with you there. The team we mentioned earlier, Arizona, that game's kind of a toss-up. I don't see them beating Seattle. I don't see them sweeping Tampa Bay. Carolina will probably even give them a game. I don't think they can go to New England and win. Maybe even beat the Saints. I don't know. Well, that helps to have them a couple times. Like I agree with you there. It's like they're a 7-8 win team. I think they'd be a 6-5-6-7 win team maybe with Kirk Cousins. So I think it's
Mhm.
good to give the reins to Michael Penix and let him develop. He was a very good college quarterback.
Yep, I agree. I mean, I think he threw arguably the best deep ball I've ever seen from a college guy. I'll say that. And he threw a very pretty deep ball.
Right, exactly. But he's still got a little work to do, and so does this Falcons team. So yeah, 7-8 wins. Give me the under.
Mm.
And now their NFC North brethren, a team who has
NFC South there, pal.
their NFC South brethren, a team who has struggled over the past few years, looking to go on the up in the Carolina Panthers. Their total is set at 6.5.
As much as I want to say it with Bryce Young, I think he's going to make strides this year. But I just don't feel like he has a true wide receiver threat right now. I mean, Adam Thielen's kind of his best go. He's on the back end of his when he was in his prime, obviously. I mean, he was top tier. I mean, he's on the back end of it. He's just not as reliable as he once was. No offense to Thielen, I love the guy. You know, it's probably a 5, 6 win season realistically for the Panthers at this point. They are still young. I feel like Bryce Young still has a lot to prove.
Yeah, I mean, it does help to have Dave Canales there. You saw the strides he made in year two. Obviously, he's going to make more strides in year three. Has Tet McMillan around him, who I expect to have a big season around him, but I just don't see them getting to 7 wins to get that over. So I'm going to take the unders. I think Atlanta's better than them. Tampa Bay is better than them. Like it'd have to be through Arizona, Dallas, Seattle, I guess. Maybe if you could go 500 in that division, you'll get it, but I just don't see them doing that.
Carolina still is a fairly young team as well. They just don't have the experience as of now. In the future, they might be a tough one.
Yeah, let's move on to who I believe will be the one of the biggest question marks in this league team wise in the Chicago Bears.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with you. From what I've seen in the preseason and what I've kind of heard about the QB situation there, Caleb Williams seems like it's making a lot of strides. I can definitely see why with bringing in the old offensive coordinator of the Detroit Lions. What's his name again?
Ben Johnson.
Ben Johnson, who was just a mastermind in Detroit there with Jared Goff, and I feel like Williams has a bit more upside than Goff, to be completely honest. I think he's building something special in Chicago right now. It's just, can they put it together in year one here of the Ben Johnson era? Their division, keep in mind, is a very, very tough division. Lions, obviously, Packers, Vikings. Those three teams were in the playoffs last year. I mean, those are three contending teams that you have to get through to get to the playoffs, and you have to play each of those teams twice. So I gotta look more into their schedule here. There's a lot of question marks around this team. Um, they have the opportunity to be a very good team, and it's just they just happen to play in arguably the toughest division in football. I'm gonna take the under. Just looking at their schedule here. Um, they're going to be playing at Philly, at San Francisco, going to be playing at Cincinnati, and at Baltimore, at the Commanders. As much talent as they have, it's just they have a tough schedule. So that's why I'm going to take the under.
Yeah, I mean, they do obviously play in a very tough division, but I'm going to take the over. I do think there will be a learning curve for not only Ben Johnson to get used to Caleb Williams, but also Caleb Williams to get used to Ben Johnson because Caleb Williams and Jared Goff, two very different styles of quarterback. I think they'll do all right in that division. Obviously, Ben Johnson has had a lot of success against our Minnesota Vikings. If he can take some against Dallas and Pittsburgh, those are winnable games. Green Bay will be a winnable game. I mean, he might have a few tricks up his sleeve for Detroit. You never know. That could be winnable, especially week 18. Who knows if Detroit will have their dogs out there for with it. I mean, Campbell probably will, but who knows? They'll definitely be in contention for that, so I do like the over.
All right, first disagreement of the night.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes.
All right, and moving down to Jerry World with the Dallas Cowboys. Line at 7.5. I just feel like there's too much going off the field on off the field right now down in Dallas. I do feel like they overpaid for Dak, which and that's been going on for a few years now, and I just don't feel like the Cowboys are going to be able to have it. Just a gut feeling. I get they are America's team and all that. I just don't see it happening, unfortunately.
It seems like every year they have these off-season problems, and as long as Dak stays healthy, they've always been a decent team. They hire Brian Schottenheimer this year. Let Mike McCarthy's contract expire. I just don't see a lot of winnable games to get him over that 7.5 mark, so I have to go the under.
Now switching gears back to Detroit, I guess the line's at 10.5 wins. Obviously, NFC North, very tough division. I don't have Ben Johnson anymore as OC. That may play an effect, but Jared Goff has he's proven he can win. I do see them going over 10.5 wins right now. It sounds like Aiden Hutchinson's feeling better than ever with Dan Campbell's aggressive coaching. They're going to be a tough out.
Yeah, they lost a lot of coaching. Not only Ben Johnson, like we mentioned, Aaron Glenn left to take the head coach job of the Jets. They had a pretty good defense. There'd be times where they got boat raced, which it happens. But I think they have enough talent to overcome that. I've thought they were a question mark. I think it's going to be a little more up and down than last year. Obviously, I don't believe they're getting to 15-2 record like they did last year, but 10.5 is certainly achievable with that talent. Probably the best running back tandem in the league, a very talented offensive line up there with anybody. Amon Ra is a top 10 receiver in the NFL. They have enough offensive talent. Aiden Hutchinson on the defensive side. Kirby Joseph is a ball hawk. They just have enough talent that I think they can get over that 10.5 while still having a little regression.
And headed north, actually, pay attention to their rival here, the Green Bay Packers, set at 9.5. This is a very interesting one as well. Will they step into that role of the Lions last year? No, I don't think so. I am going to take the over here. I feel like Jordan Love, he continues the trajectory he's kind of on. 9.5 wins is definitely in the conversation. You're talking 10, 11, even 12 wins there. So I'm going to take the over there.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest question is will Jordan Love be able to play a complete season? He hasn't really been doing that, but in his defense, he's always peaked in the later parts of the season. Once Toyota Thon hits, Jordan Love starts to peak and plays like a top five, honestly, NFL quarterback. It's will they sustain that throughout the regular season? And there's a few games I marked that they'll have to win these to get over their schedule, but I feel like they can win enough of those that they'll get over it. Like if they can finally beat Minnesota, if they can beat a Dallas team in Jerry's world where they've had a lot of success. Cincinnati is definitely beatable. Arizona's beatable. Pittsburgh's beatable. Like I,
Baltimore at
Bal-
home late in the year.
yeah, I mean that Lambeau Magic. That there's enough of those winnable games that I think the over is the play for me.
Headed west now to LA for the team run by Sean McVay out with the Rams here. Line set at 9.5. I want to hear what you think for your first.
I do like the over. I mean, I feel like they have enough games on their schedule where they'll win eight pretty easily. There's a few other games like if they like Houston, Seattle, Tampa Bay, Arizona, all winnable games. Even San Francisco a couple times, all winnable games in my opinion. They have enough of those winnable opportunities where I think they will be a 10-win team, and Sean McVay will get them to a 10-win team. That defensive line, as we saw last year in the playoffs,
Yes.
really gets after the quarterback. Jared
Yes.
Verse is going to be take another big step and maybe enter defensive player of the year conversations. So I do like them. Matthew Stafford is still their quarterback, so I think they're in good hands.
You kind of talked me into it here. I will be taking the over as well. Like you said, Jared Versailles or Verse or whatever you want to call him. I always thought it was Versailles, but he is. I mean, he's a top tier defensive player. He sets the tone for that defense. Sean McVay, good coaches like him are going to create winning seasons. And it doesn't matter if their QB's damn near 40 years old. With Matt Stafford, I believe he's 37 now, but he can still throw it with the best of them. He's got some weapons on the offensive side of the ball. I definitely like the over there.
All right, and now the one everybody's been waiting for are Minnesota Vikings. Their win total is set at 8.5. So Dalton, are they going to have a above 500 season?
I actually really like, the 8.5 little line there just because there's so much unknown about this quarterback situation with JJ McCarthy right now. I mean, you could have said the same thing last year with Sam Darnold. Obviously, we know what happened last year with Darnold. He went on to play, I mean, best season of his career, obviously, and ended up punching the Vikings into the playoffs, where things kind of fell apart there a little bit. But with Darisaw coming back, it does not help having Jordan Addison out 3 games here. Having that 1-2 combo with Addison and Jefferson is obviously going to be very, very tough and difficult for defenses to stop, especially with Aaron Jones and TJ Hawkinson running routes and a B-flow defense. I do like the over just because I think maybe Kevin O'Connell is maybe transitioning this offense to, work for JJ McCarthy almost like they did at Michigan a little bit. I mean, no offense to McCarthy, but getting him in comfortable situations, getting him to relax a little bit. So I do like the over on this one.
Yeah, I do like the over too. It's going to be that big question mark of JJ McCarthy. I just think he will play good enough to win 9 games. Quarterback's obviously the biggest question mark, but JJ McCarthy has shown he can play winning football.
Mhm.
Do I expect him to win a Super Bowl or make a deep run in the playoffs this year? No, I think he'll have to develop into that type of player in the NFL. But like we get Cincinnati early in the season, they always struggle out of the gates. We get to Pittsburgh and London, always a toss up. We get Philly after our bye week. It's always a big advantage having that extra week of rest and everything. We get Chicago and Ben Johnson twice.
Mhm.
Green Bay, we always do well with. Seattle, always struggle there for whatever reason. And maybe we can finally beat Detroit. I just think there's a lot of games that are definitely winnable that will get us to that over.
But week one will be a real test for, I guess, the Vikings and JJ in general, just because Monday Night Football at Soldier Field, the Vikings have historically struggled at Soldier Field, regardless of noon kickoff, night kickoff. Ben Johnson era, Soldier Field's gonna be rowdy. Monday Night Football in Chicago, that's gonna be a real test. So we're gonna find out a lot on that night.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm very excited to find out everything. And now on to the team that has tied for the lowest win totals at 4.5 in the New Orleans Saints.
Yeah, I want to say the over just because I don't feel like any NFL team should have less than 4 wins, but I don't really see it happening in New Orleans, to be completely honest. Because is it Derek Carr running the show now?
Nope, he unfortunately had to retire, shoulder injury. It's who knows. It could be Spencer Rattler, it could be Tyler Slow. It's not good, and Kellen Moore has his hands full with that Saints team.
Yeah.
I just don't think they're a very talented team, and they pay a lot of money to not be very talented and constantly be in cap nightmare situations. So yeah, I'm gonna say the under. And like when you have the same win total as the Browns, you're not doing something right.
Mm. And I mean, I absolutely love Kellen Moore I loved him as offense coordinator. I thought he was a genius. It's just for a first time head coaching job, he's really in a tough spot in New Orleans right now.
We got to do the New York Giants at 5.5, and I see 6 games they could potentially win. I just don't think they'll win all 6, so I'm gonna take the under. They're riding the Jackson Dart trade. He's looked pretty good. They obviously like him. They traded up to get him, so see how it goes. It's not smooth sailing for these New York Giants.
I was always kind of a big Jackson Dart fan throughout college and everything. It's just he's young. He's gonna have, a lot of question marks surrounding him. I don't feel like he's in the greatest of situations right now as a Giant with the team they kind of have around him. So I will be taking the under there.
Now onto the NFC East brethren, the defending Super Bowl champions, the Philadelphia Eagles at 11.5.
Yeah, I like the over here. I mean, I could go on and on about Jalen Hurts is a top tier quarterback. Saquon, obviously. Devontae Smith. That defense is straight out nasty. Nick Sirianni, I feel like he's just done a great job at Philadelphia. And as much as I can't really stand the guy's personality, he's one heck of a coach, and I see them smashing the over.
Everybody's like, oh, all he does is win with talent, but like I think he's the perfect coach for that job. And I just don't think a lot of coaches can replicate it. Like I've been someone who said he's not that smart of a coach or whatever, but he's perfect for what Philadelphia needs, and they're a very talented team, top to bottom. Howie Roseman has done an incredible job assembling that team, so give me the over at 11.5.
Now headed out west to team that's been a contender the last few years, the San Francisco 49ers. And Kyle Shanahan still running that ball club, led by QB Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant. Not really playing like Mr. Irrelevant. Just so many question marks for me. Is McCaffrey going to come back as the same McCaffrey? I want to say the over here. It's just I don't know if I can.
I mean, I'm gonna say the over. I just think that their schedule works out so nicely. Like one of the benefits of not having a great season last year is you get a easier season this year. I think they do bounce back. I am interested to see in the next couple years how Brock Purdy fares without his best ability, and that he was a very cheap quarterback.
Mhm.
Now he's a very rich quarterback. But I still like them to get over 10 and a half. I don't think they have to win too many question mark games. Like I only think they have to really win one. And like they definitely can do that. So give me the over. I trust Kyle Shanahan to get them right.
Yeah, I guess I never really said mine, but I mean, like you kind of said there, kind of underperformed last year, kind of an easier schedule. I like the over as well.
I think somebody was copying my homework.
Shut up.
But we're gonna stick in the NFC West and home of the 12th man in the Seattle Seahawks. Their win total is set at 7.5, and I kind of think that number is a little low.
I would agree. Obviously, there's some question marks around Sam Darnold, but he's got enough talent around him. I feel like that teams that are always going to struggle in Seattle. It seems like I actually really like the over on this one here. I think they're going to be buying for a wild card spot come playoff time. Obviously, depending on Sam Darnold, but it seemed like he made great strides last year. I'm actually kind of excited to see this Seahawks team led by Mr. Sam Darnold.
It says a lot when they trade Geno Smith to sign Sam Darnold. They struggled for Seattle standards, and a couple games actually got taken over by visiting fans, but I think the 12th man still stands tall, propels them to the over.
Mhm. And now headed to the opposite corner of the country, I guess, and to Tampa Bay, where we see the Buccaneers led by Mr. Baker Mayfield. Line set at 9.5, and I like them to hit that over. What Baker Mayfield has done ever since getting to Tampa, he's really kind of relaunched his career. I like what he's been doing there. I see them having a 10, 11 win season. Baker's just being Baker. He's just finding a way to win games. It's something like I can really appreciate.
Baker has a talent. Obviously, some people see that more than others. I think he's above league average quarterback, and I actually have the under here. I just don't see a lot of opportunities for them to get that over. I mean, obviously, we know how they're going to do in the division. Five, potentially even get the clean sweep in there. But outside of that, I just don't know where four other wins come from. So I'm gonna have to take the under. Like I still like them in that division. It's just I just don't know where else they'll get their wins.
All right, another disagreement. Now headed north here to the District of Columbia. Is it still FedEx Field? Is it?
It's a really bad stadium. That's
Yeah,
all that is.
it's a dump, but you know what isn't a dump? Like quarterback they got there right now in Jaden Daniels. And he really turned it on ever since he really kind of transferred to LSU from ASU, obviously, in college. He's taken massive jumps. He's just continually gotten better. I like them smashing the over here.
I'm gonna actually take the under here and kind of a bit of surprise, probably my most surprising pick. But I just think their schedule's too hard to get over. Like they play the rest of the NFC East, obviously.
Mhm.
They play the NFC North as their NFC
Oh,
conference.
okay. That's going to be very, very tough.
And then, because they needed a little bit more of a challenge, they decided to play the AFC West as their
Oh,
AFC conference. So, plus, you're going to get some dang good teams otherwise. So, it's like they don't have a lot of just show up, maybe play B minus C plus football and win. So for that reason, I'm going to have to take the under. Jane Daniels is a very, very good quarterback, but he can only take you so far. I think they're going to be like a 9-8 team. I could be completely wrong about that, but that's just how I see it with their schedule. I would like to hear your divisional winners and conference champs.
yeah. So we'll start with the NFC North here. I think that'll be the toughest one, to be completely honest. I am going to roll with the Lions. Just there's just too much of the talent there. Too many question marks around other teams in that division, even though they're all very, very good football teams. Just too many question marks around them. I like the Lions to win the North.
I like the Packers though to step up. I think I said it for the Lions; they're due for regression. I think the Packers got to win the division one year in the Jordan Love era, and I think this is a great year to do it because the Vikings are in transition, the Bears are in transition, the Lions are in transition. You have all the pieces set, so I think this is their time to step up, become the kings of the North at least for a year.
All right. Well, headed out west here, I am going to take the 49ers. I think it's probably a two-horse race with them and the Seahawks, but I think the 49ers just have that edge there. They won't be as banged up, I don't feel like. Kyle Shanahan just does a great job out there. I think Brock Purdy can put it together here and get the division one for him.
When you said two horse race, my immediate thought went to the 49ers and the Rams. I still like the 49ers in that race. I think the Rams
Oh,
are going to be probably their toughest competition, but still think the 49ers, especially if they can stay healthy, will contend to be one of, if not the best teams in the NFC.
well, headed south here for the NFC South. This is going to be a tough one, unfortunately. It's not a very good division.
No, I have zero faith in any of the other three teams in
Yeah,
the Saints, Panthers, and Falcons. So I'm gonna stick with the Bucks. I'm just not high on them,
right.
but I still think they are the best team in that division, at
Yeah.
least for this year. Maybe Penix takes another step and becomes the best team next year, but not this year. I think it's the Bucks.
Yeah, Atlanta has some work to do. Tampa Bay is just the best overall team right now, with the best quarterback. I feel in that division. I'm now headed to the East here. It's gonna be an interesting division here. Obviously the Eagles, Commanders, Giants are gonna be, and I think who else we got here.
How about them Cowboys?
I just always forget they're in the East. It makes no geographical sense. So, it seemed more like a South team to me, if you were to ask
Oh,
me.
it was even better when the Arizona Cardinals were in the East and the Saints, Panthers, and Falcons were all in the West, but that was a long time ago. But who is your winner in the East?
I think it's pretty hard to vote against Mr. Sirianni's team up in Philadelphia. You kind of said it best. He's the probably best coach for that organization up there. He's the Philadelphia type of guy. It's hard to vote against Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley.
No, exactly. And I don't plan on doing that today, so I'm also going to pick them as the East. However, I'm not going to pick them as my conference champion. I just, too boring. Give me the 49ers.
Oh, an upset.
They could potentially have home field in that game. It will be
That
interesting
is
if they
true.
can do it with that. I mean, they're obviously a very talented team, have that winning pedigree. I'm going to guess it's a rematch of 2 years ago when they played and all the 49ers lost their arms at
Yeah,
quarterback. Hopefully, we get a rematch of that one. That's what I predict. But I do like the 49ers coming out on top.
you made some very valid points, but for a while I was going purely Philadelphia, kind of the easy choice, but. Playoff football, anything can happen. I mean, we've all seen that, obviously. I don't think any of us expected Philadelphia to run all over Kansas City last year, but I'm going to say I like the Detroit Lions, actually. I kind of picked them to win the division, and I'm going to pick them to win the conference here.
Hmm.
I just like this might be their year to kind of get it done. Dan Campbell kind of proves a lot of people wrong this year, so I like the Lions.
All right, I'm going to give you a trivia question. When's the last time the Lions have won the NFC?
Probably never.
That is exactly correct. They're the only team to not win the NFC. There's a first time for everything, and hopefully for Lions fans it's this year. But I think we're gonna move from professional football and Dalton this Saturday, week 0, college football officially starts. We have the Dublin kickoff game between Iowa State and Kansas State Farmageddon. I think everybody's super excited for it. You can feel the buzz in the air. We get a little appetizer this Saturday, but I'm very excited for it.
Yeah, I would agree. Hitting us already. Obviously, you and I won't be to in-person games until next week, but it's college football, so I'm excited for it. I think college is better than professional. To be completely honest, I enjoy it more.
It's fall. It's the best time of the year. Football, professional football is right around the corner. College football. It's great to have games that actually matter too. So
Hmm.
and first ever top 25 game in Ireland. So hopefully it's a great football game between two rivals.
I'm looking forward to it.
Dalton, it's my favorite part of the episode. I time to crown your this week's local legend.
Alrighty. For many of you that have been paying attention to Minnesota amateur baseball state tournament started this past weekend. And my local team, Nisswa Lightning, ended up taking on the Kimball Express in a big week one win, which they ended up taking 6-0. highlighted by Blaine Hardy. Yes, Blaine Hardy that played professional baseball. 7 shutout innings, 3 hits, striking out 12. Pretty impressive if you ask me. I mean, he can be 44 or whatever years old he is. When you're doing that against some high quality baseball players, I feel like that's deserving of a local legend.
Yeah, I mean that's big time player stepping up, and Luke Reuter, a draft pick for Eagle, also won this week. They play this weekend too, so hopefully we get to see him on the bump for the state tournament. We get to see how that adrenaline rush is for him.
Yeah, for those of you that are wondering, draftees are only allowed to pitch in the Minnesota Amateur Baseball Tournament. So how Reuter got selected, I'm not sure as a pitcher, but 'cause he's a hell of an outfielder.
He's a crafty righty. He grinds, he finds ways to get batters out, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, he gets guys out. He doesn't blow you away with velocity, but hey, he'll gets guys out. Well, any other comments from today's episode or anything here, Max?
Just sit back and open a cold beer and enjoy college football this Saturday.
I will indeed do that. As tomorrow I embark on my maiden voyage back down to school. That just means we're closer to college football, we're closer to deer hunting season, we're closer to cold beers with the boys.
Damn right.
I guess you mentioned your next week plans Thursday night. What did you say? Or was it Friday?
Thursday night.
Well, on Friday night, I'll be headed up to TCO Stadium to see first ever collegiate game there actually as my university, the Winona State University Warriors, will be taking on University of Minnesota Duluth Bulldogs up there in a little week zero matchup. Last year was a very competitive game. Unfortunately for Winona State, when I was in the press box, their Duluth's quarterback ended up having 4 touchdowns on the ground that game. And I believe he won National Player of the Week for close to 300 yards rushing. So let's just say he's a haul.
Yeah, that seems like he had a pretty good week.
And I mean, let's be honest. He's built like a fullback that plays quarterback and has an above average arm. I don't know if anyone else out there has seen Duluth play, but yeah, he's a fullback that throws it, and Duluth knows that, and they abuse it, and other teams can't stop it. So
Yeah, I mean Duluth always a formidable D2 program, but and then going to TCO is just a extra cherry on top.
yeah, I've been seeing some social media stuff, and both teams are kind of hosting alumni events at the game as well. So that'll be kind of cool to see that stadium packed up. I'm not sure if you've been to TCO at all, but it is a fantastic facility down in Egan. So I'm looking forward to making my way over there. Unfortunately, one of my favorite parts about college football, tailgating, it's not allowed there, unfortunately. So that's kind of a bummer. But hey, college football is college football. I'm excited. So.
As we are, but
Well, we appreciate you guys tuning into this episode, and we'll catch you guys next week here. Peace.